Hello there, guys. Welcome back to another episode of E&Ftv. Thank you very much for tuning in. Today, we've got a good friend of mine, Michael Heyward, who is the Managing Director of Heyward Hospitality Solutions. Today, Michael's going to be taking us through his background, what brought him to actually go into his own sort of business and own consultancy, and also his relationship with Glion, the university, and take us through a couple of great and exciting things that are going on with his business as well. So, Michael, thank you very much for joining us today.
Great pleasure.
So, I suppose let's kick things off. I suppose first off, tell us a bit about yourself, your background, what brought you into revenue management, and also the business that you're in and you own.
Fantastic. Well, my background has always been in hotels. Mainly through various different parts of operations. As you can tell from my outrageous foreign accent, I'm from southern climes, worked for a few different companies and in different countries in the Asia Pacific region. How I got into revenue management was as a project, really. I was a rooms division manager for a couple of hotels in Brisbane, Queensland in Australia. And I was approached by one of the legends of our industry and our discipline, Maria Taylor, who now works for Amadeus. She had a project that she was working on, this idea that there might be something in revenue management for the hospitality industry and for the hotel company, for Accor that we both worked for. So I got hired to go into head office and work in the corporate office there. I had a couple of different projects, but my main one was to see if this revenue management idea could really add value to the company. And for the next 5 years, based in Sydney, taking the ferry to work each day, which was pretty cool. I worked on this project and built a revenue management team across the Pacific region from scratch, and we delivered some really fantastic results in that region. I had a few people working for me that may be reasonably well known to you. Jonathan Liu was part of that team. Rob Patterson was part of that team, and several others. I then had the opportunity to move to another region, which had not embraced revenue management as strongly as we had in the Pacific. So I came to the UK, and I was head of revenue management for the UK and Ireland Accor hotels. At that stage, the entire department was myself, an analyst, and a database CRS pricing person. It was just the three of us. And I arrived about a month before Lehman Brothers collapsed and the global financial crisis happened. Great time to be the RGI guy, but anyway. By the time I left 2 years later, our team was 17 people, and we had significantly improved the RGI performance of our portfolio of hotels in a market that was declining. So it was really tough, but we were delivering some great results, just getting some foundations of revenue management in place. Pretty tough to build a team at a time when other teams were facing redundancies and when everyone's budgets were blown out of the water. There are some parallels to what we're experiencing now. I then went from there after a couple of years to IHG, where I inherited a team that had been centralized without the full support of some of the senior operations execs. So we had a bit of a broken relationship between the RM team and the ops team. And we had RGI performance that was plummeting at a time when I just left Accor with climbing RGI. It took us quite a while to turn that around. It was a big team. about the same size that I'd been managing in Australia before moving over to the UK. And the morale wasn't great. The performance was pretty tough, and we were under pressure from other departments and from the owners and asset managers. Over the 3 years that I was working with that team, we turned that around and we were delivering year-on-year RGI performance consistently every month for almost 2 years. And the last part of that just after I had left the team, so that growth continued after I'd left. I then went and worked in the franchise support team for a while, and then when I left IHG, it gave me the opportunity to really think about what I was passionate about. And I loved revenue management, I still do, but what I loved more than that was building teams, and building teams in an environment where you're under a lot of pressure, where you have complicated things to tackle and new areas that you're trying to tackle. And that's the direction I've gone into now in my business, where we support, it's a consulting firm where we support other businesses in developing high-performing teams and the high-performing individuals that make up those teams. And I absolutely love it. And I think there's a lot of parallels between what you do in seeing people develop through their careers. And that's part of what I like about the Edwards and Finn approach to revenue management recruitment. It's less of a one-hit transactional approach, and it's more of a professional development, career-long commitment to your people who you are placing, but also in the way you work with the revenue management teams who you help with recruitment. You are prepared to challenge them on what are they doing to develop their team on a longer-term basis, bringing in the right people and all that kind of thing. And that's the kind of thing I love, which is why you and I have so many interesting conversations about talent development and team development.
Definitely. I think one of the things also we're both very passionate about is the development of obviously the commercial leaders in our industry, but of the future. You know, you've helped me quite a bit with regards to getting into one particular university. That's obviously Glion, with obviously the guest lecturing that I've been doing. But tell us a bit about how that relationship came about for yourself with an institution like Glion, and what is it that makes it so exciting for you to share the world of revenue management with these young minds? Because as we both know, they are so eager to learn. Yeah. And they just need that chance. And I obviously find it very enjoyable and very rewarding. So I suppose, what is it about it that excites you so much?
Well, there's a couple of things that really make the Glion lecturing work for me. First of all, on the London campus, they've got a great combination of faculty who are very much from the academic side and faculty like myself who are currently working in consulting within the industry. So you've got that nice blend of the two. And the academic faculty are really good and open to gaining value from how they work with those of us who are in industry. And that makes it a lot easier for us to lean on them a bit to make sure we're delivering to the high academic standards that are required for higher education in the UK. I love working at a place like Glion, one of the top 3 hotel schools in the world, because there's 2 things that allows. One is that it allows me to really challenge the students. This is a high caliber education that you're investing in. So we make no bones about the fact that we are expecting high standards from them. But as much as you do that, that also gives them the license to challenge us and ask a lot of us as their lecturers. Part of what I enjoy in my classes, and you've been a guest lecturer very kindly for me a couple of times, it does give you that opportunity for you to relate what you're teaching them to your real world experiences. And when you've got that strong mutual trust and expectation of challenging, they're prepared to ask you those difficult questions about, okay, what does that mean in reality? And it gives you the opportunity to explore that. That's the kind of environment I thrive in. And it's another reason why I've been involved in several leadership development programs and management education programs, developing people into being ready to be first-time GMs, for example. It's a really crucial step, like the one you work with graduates, getting them into good, challenging positions, the top talent from the higher education institutions, getting them into good jobs that will challenge them, and they will really deliver for the businesses. So there's quite a few parallels between those two different parts of what I do in my company.
Definitely.
And Glion's just a great environment. I really enjoy it a lot.
Oh, same here. Every time I get asked to go back, I very much look forward to it. It's one of those sort of environments that you're tested just as much as they are.
Yep. Well, you know, one of the things I love chuckling about is the Swiss attitude to timing with if a class starts at 8 and you turn up at 8:05, you're just quietly asked to go and have a cup of coffee and come back in the break in the middle of the class. And it's not being nasty, it's not being unnecessarily tough, it's just that's the way we do things. We would expect you in a business context to turn up on time. And I know for you in the recruitment business, you have an even greater passion for that. So setting those business expectations, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Something that I wanted to discuss with you actually in this video was something that I've actually gone through myself more recently, but a trend that I've been seeing, and I know we've obviously spoken about this before, but is actually senior revenue management professionals leaving the brands or the groups they're in and starting their own consultancy businesses, which is, of course, something you've done. I mean, it would be interesting to understand what that journey was like and what it was like for you to take that leap. And also, what are the sort of biggest lessons that you've learned over the years to date after making that decision?
I think the first thing is that I've got used to being scared in a good way. And I know that's a term I've used with you a few times. Deciding to go out on your own is a lot more scary than just taking a corporate job somewhere. You really have to be confident in what you're doing, understand what it is you're doing. And for us now to have grown to the point where there's 3 of us in the company and looking to continue to grow, that's a fantastic place to be. But it is scary. It's always scary. So I would say the first thing is have some clarity about what it is you're all about and be very true to yourself in that. I could have gone down the path of doing something that I wasn't passionate about, and I think that would have become problematic for me because you need that passion to get you through those tough days. Another thing I've been lucky enough with the amount of business I've had all the time is to really try to work with people that you respect and that you gain energy from working with them. I have not had long-term working relationships with people where it just fills you with dread when you're having to deal with them and you just don't know, okay, how am I going to handle this next? So all that walking on eggshells, all that tentativeness, and that's, I mean, when you're the consultant, you have to balance between they're paying for your knowledge and expertise, but they also have their own ideas of what they're wanting to get. So it's certainly a skill set that you need to put time and effort into learning. But boiling that down, be true to yourself and embrace the good kind of scared that comes with taking on something that is a real challenge. So, yeah, I guess those are the two biggest things in my mind.
Definitely. Great. And I suppose at the end of each episode, I always like to give a chance to anybody appearing on the episode to just tell us a bit about what's going on in their business, whether that be a hotel brand or a hotel group or a single property, or somebody like yourself that has their own business. Tell us something that's going on within your business. I know obviously the current climate is limiting us all to a certain extent, but yeah, tell us a bit about you guys.
Well, the thing that I'm most excited about at the moment is a range of pieces that we're putting together. And it's all about exactly what we've been talking about: career development, professional development. And just to give you a couple of tasters on that, from the times that I've managed large teams, or I've been in charge of large teams, and you have those employee engagement surveys, which are all very anonymous. You've got those annual performance conversations with people that are linked to promotions and pay rises and bonuses and all those kinds of things. And then you have a separate conversation that's a career development chat. Sure. Those things have a tendency to sit in isolation from each other. They don't really hang together. And we're working on something that you and I have done together, the Harrison Assessment, which is a profiling tool that looks at people's behaviours rather than looking at their personality. Once you're looking at their behaviours, you can talk about what behaviours they may want to change and work on from a development point of view. And it's very much a two-way thing. You can talk about the behaviours that they have as their current habits and their current strengths and how those fit with the next position that they're wanting. So you're not only looking at it from the point of view of the position they are currently in, but also from the point of view of the position that they're wanting to move to, so you can help them progress towards that. It also allows you, from an engagement point of view, to really talk about and think about the different factors in engagement within a team. Let's assume you've got a team of 7 people and your engagement survey comes back and it says, here are the 2 biggest concerns from that group of 7 people. That whole report is anonymous and it's averaging everyone out. Sure. What you need to do to create great engagement, so that the holy grail in engagement is that people are wanting to contribute to the business and to the team, and they feel invested in it, and they'll go out of their way for the best outcomes for the team. But each person, their engagement and retention factors are different. Some people are very heavily motivated by money. Others are very heavily motivated by career development opportunities. Sure. Others have got just so much stuff going on in their lives that they would like to just be recognised for doing a really good job as they are, without being pushed or stretched or nudged or elbowed or whatever. They just want to be given that recognition. And even that word recognition, it's very different for different people. You may be someone who wants to be put on stage with a whole company and be told you're the biggest legend in the organisation. For some people, that is the holy grail of recognition. For others, that is just sheer terror. They will have sleepless nights worrying about that. They'll probably call in sick on the day. You can't just assume there is one recognition solution for everyone in the team. You need to get to understand the individuals. So what I'm really excited about is how we're pulling all of those issues, challenges and theories together with a strong platform using the Harrison Assessment, and creating an environment within which leaders can lead in an individually, humanly engaging way and create the collaboration and strength amongst the individuals in a team, so that that team just moves to a whole other level of operating. That's the kind of thing that gets strong teams delivering incredibly strong results in excruciatingly difficult circumstances. which we have all around us at the moment. So I think it's the right time to be working with the right partners on building high-performing teams, and that's what I'm passionate about.
Brilliant.
So there you go.
No, that's absolutely.
Do you want to sign up?
Well, it sounds like you've got some exciting stuff going on, and that's going to develop into these obviously new products for the clients that you're working with, which is fantastic to hear. Michael, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. I know you're extremely busy. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and make sure you check out who's going to be on the next episode. Take a look.